Hello out there in video land, and we're just going to get our radio guys going. Hello out there in radio land. How you doing today? My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your city, your voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Canada. And we are in the studios of 4680Q as usual. And you know what? We're here to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I love saying that. I don't know why. I just love saying it. Anyway, show number 450, Trash Talking Tuesday today. One of my favorite days when I just get in here and trash talk. How does it get better than that? I don't think it does. And it's cold. Oh, baby, it's cold outside. Oh, yeah. That's why I got my toque on. It's cold. It's even chilly in the studio here. Not too bad, though. They got the heat working. Everything's pretty good, but I got to keep my hat on anyway. Keeps you even warmer, right? The news rolls on whether we like it or not, and there's so much going on right now because of the hijinks at City Council on Queen Street here. Yesterday, Dave Wheeler and I took a look at the agenda, went through the agenda, and gave you the highlights. Have to mention that a couple more times because since we went through it yesterday, there's been some items added that I'm going to talk about for a second, and then we're going to get to the show. Everything else on the show today, we got lots to talk about. Lots going on in the world. A lot of stories. Just crazy, 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 crazy train out there. But I do want to talk about City Council for a second before I get into my sponsors and that. And of course, my sponsors are Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, Hamel Machine Shop. Okay, let's talk about City Council after my sponsors here, right? So the first sponsor is Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And of course, when we talk about Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, we ask you to be proactive. That's right. We want you to get your car in and take care of any problems before we get really bad weather. Now, we've been really lucky. We're hitting the middle of January here, and we haven't seen really a lot of snow. I mean, we've been lucky. But there are going to be days that are coming in the next 6 weeks before summer hits on March 1st. And John Ring will be able to argue with that with me. But there are things that can happen to your car, and it's going to break down on the worst day, and you're going to get stuck in this bad weather. So my advice, be proactive. Get your car to Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair Body Shop. He's going to look at your car. He's going to run the diagnostics on it. He's going to make sure everything's running tip-top. Your battery's good. Your heating system is good, so you can defrog those windows. He's going to make sure everything's running fine so you don't get broke down on the side of the road, and that's something none of us want. As well, if you get in a wreck, he's got a full body shop. He'll take your car in, fix it, and send it out in showroom condition. Make you happy, make everybody happy. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership. Check it out. Check it out. Give Ken a call. Make sure your car is running tip-top. WildBillsAuto.ca is where you go on the website. And check it out. Support our sponsors because they support the city and they support the show. And also, if you're watching this video later on today, it comes on. I'm live on 4680Q right now on the radio if you're listening. Probably my buddy Gary Wilkins might be listening. But if you're going to watch it later on YouTube, subscribe. I know probably half the viewers subscribe. So subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave a few comments. I always talk about comments on the show. There's people out there that know more than I do for sure. And when they comment, it's fantastic. So City Council, let me just say this about City Council. We have the budget coming up. Excuse me, it's dry in here. Drier than California. But yeah, we have the City Council, the budget coming up. And, you know, a lot of people out there are intimidated by City Council. For some bizarre reason, which I can't figure out myself, they think that everybody sitting around that table are geniuses. They think they're accountants or engineers. They know everything. They don't know nothing. Believe me, you know as much as they do. The only difference is they know more people, so they got elected. Do not give them more credit than they deserve, which means that you can question them anytime you want. Because they think something is right doesn't mean it's right. No. They look through the budget like you and me. They look at the numbers. And then we depend on them because they don't have the expertise to run a $160 million corporation. We depend on them to use common sense when dealing with our money. Are they qualified? No, they're not. What do we got? A teacher, a real estate agent, somebody, another teacher, an undertaker, somebody worked for the region. I don't know what he did there and why he's still not there. We got I don't know what Mona Patel does, Counselor Patel. I have no clue what she does. And Chris Dabrowski, well, he runs a business, but it's certainly not $160 million. And so that's what we have on council. We have Lori Lococo, who's actually taking courses that I know of to get better at municipal government and dealing with the budget. I mean, she's the one that's interested, but the rest, believe me, they don't know any more than you. Every one of your questions is valid. So if you have a question, do not hesitate to email them and get an answer. Seriously, I'm not a genius by any means. I go through the budget like a counselor would and look through it, except I have questions. I have questions on everything, and the same with you. So never think that these people are above you or they're smarter than you or they know more than you do. No. The only thing they have over me is they have access. That's something I don't have. I don't have access to the CAO and to Tiffany Clark and all these other people to ask questions. I don't have access to that. If I did, I would know as much as they do, maybe more, because I actually go through every page, 192 pages of the budget, and I think their book is even bigger. And I actually go through 382 pages of the capital budget. So I probably went through it more than they did, and I have more questions than they did because they had none. So seriously, folks, do not put these people on a pedestal. They're regular Joes like you or me that were 2 years ago on the street working at their jobs. They're a popularity contest in this city. They got elected. They don't know what they're doing. So what we have to expect of them, because we can't expect them to do a job they're not qualified for. They're not engineers. They're not planners. They're not CAOs. We have to expect them to use common sense and ask questions when they're dealing with our money. That's all I have to say about city council. Don't be intimidated. Don't think that they're anything special. They're these genius. This isn't Trump hiring Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk to run the Department of Government Efficiency, who are geniuses, those two guys. They run billion-dollar corporations. They are qualified. We don't have that on our city council. We don't have it. So do not be intimidated. Do not be afraid to ask questions. If they don't like it, too damn bad. Their job is to answer the questions or get the answers. That's all I have to say about that. And don't be intimidated. That's my advice. Okay, moving on. Let's see what's going on in this wacky city of ours here, because there's always something going down, right? And I was mentioning, if you look at the agenda, it's changed since the show yesterday. There are several letters added to item 7.1, the build for 4200 Queen Street and 4500 Park Street from city residents. Check the letters out. There's some people who say they don't like them being 20 stories. It's going to take away from the flavor of downtown. And I'm going, what flavor? It's a dump. So it looks like a Pacific Palisades, burnout buildings, junk. How could two 20-story buildings that are actually going to bring people down here, help support the businesses, and bring in amenities? You got two 20-story buildings with, I don't know, 200 people, 200 people living in each. I don't know how many, 400 or 500 people. They might think about putting a grocery store down here or having a branch of a bank or something. You build it, they will come, and when they come, the businesses follow them because that's where the money is. So, yeah, it cannot hurt down here. Let me put it that way. And so they're proposing two. So 7.1, read the letters from people who live in the city and see what they have to say. Interesting, really. Check out item 9.2 today. This afternoon, the meeting's at 4 o'clock. So make sure you tune in at 4 o'clock, and you can get it at niagarafalls.ca. They have a live feed. Cogeco sometimes has a live feed on their cable network, and YouTube has a live feed for sure. That's usually where I watch it. And that's at 4 o'clock. The meeting starts for us. They have an in-camera meeting before that to discuss any matters. They wanted to get it out of the city council meeting to save time because it's $1,600 an hour to run a city council meeting for all the people there, all the staff and that. So they're running the in camera, which they don't need staff for. It's only council and, if anybody, a litigator, city council, city lawyer in there talking about legal matters or whatever they have the in council for. So there's that. Now, there's another item, 9.2. It wasn't there when he did the show yesterday, and refers to surplus land, particularly the Chippewa Town Hall. And this is going to be a robust debate in council chamber. There's at least a half a dozen letters from citizens who want to talk about keeping the town hall, not getting rid of it or selling it off as surplus land. And they want to take it off the surplus land list because of historic value. And I agree here. You know me, historic properties like the Empire Building, I say no, don't keep them, get rid of them. But this one here is historic. It's from the 1800s. And, Chippewa Town Hall, if you look at the history of Chippewa at one time was a main hub in this area because the Welland Canal ran through, 12 Mile Creek and up through Allenburg and down the Welland River and ended it, really terminated the whole thing in Chippewa. From there, people stopped. There was hotels. There was a blacksmith shop. There was everything people needed to go to Chippewa, get fixed up to go down the portage to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and that kind of thing, right? So the Welland Canal brought a lot of people into this area. And once they got to Chippewa, they'd stop, get their supplies, get what they need, and then they'd head out into the Niagara River, go upriver to Lake Erie and move around wherever they wanted to go on the lake. So very, very important town, very historic. Battle of 1812 was fought around Chippewa, a lot of it around Chippewa. So at the end of the day, yes, this is a historic building, and I give kudos to the people of Chippewa. I love Chippewa. I love the people there, and I'm glad they're standing up to fight to keep this town hall. That's one thing I think is worth working for, or worth fighting for. So that's going to be good. 9.2. So you want to watch that, right? Okay, so that's about the only changes I saw, and we talked about everything else yesterday. So you want to know what's going on at City Hall, tune into YouTube and watch the show. It's about an hour and 10 minutes long when Dave Wheeler and I went through the whole agenda and picked out the highlights, and I'll let you know what they're talking about. Okay, so it's cold outside here. Like I said, 21 degrees when I took the garbage out this morning. Yeah, I got to take the garbage out. I don't get out of that job. And it's not going to warm up here for the next few days, but by the weekend, it's going to go to 37 degrees. So we're going to get some warmer weather coming up. And for January, hey, I'm in 37 in January. That's Fahrenheit. I don't use the European model. 37 Fahrenheit. Yeah, but man, oh man, I'm watching what's going on in California now, and it's getting really. I mean, if it couldn't be worse than what's already happened there. Now the Santa Anas are kicking up again, up to 72 miles an hour at crest, and flowing down through the valleys to the sea. And they're looking for another round of these fires. There's another one I think that just came in. It's called the Auto Fire. It's by Auto Drive or something in Ventura, and they're getting it. And there's also some problems that could develop really quick in Verdú, San Bernardino. They call it Verdú there, in San Gabriel Valley. They're in the way, so this weather could kick up for them too. And man, I've seen a couple of wild videos of there was the guy with the blowtorch going around and setting fires. They arrested him, but there's another weird video I saw somebody sent me where this looked like military was going along and spreading sparks along a road that was just lighting everything on fire. And you look at it and you go, huh, that looks just like the crest of all those mountains that got lit on fire like that. Weird. But anyway, who knows what it is? Could be terrorism. We don't know. But there's a lot going on. I mean, drones, assassinations, a guy in Midtown Manhattan got killed, a healthcare guy, terrorist killings, 2 attempts on Trump's life. It's got to the point the actual inauguration ceremony may have to be moved. They have to be moved indoors. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. So to think that this couldn't be terrorism, well, nah, I wouldn't throw that out the window. I wouldn't throw that out the window. And we know that the three-letter agencies, they're not going to be telling you a lot. I mean, and a lot of them are incapable anyway. I mean, they couldn't protect Trump, right? There's two attempts on his life. Secret Service couldn't stop him, so you wonder why they're changing the venue from Capitol Hill to somewhere else. Well, yeah, that's why they can't protect them. But the biggest reason for the LA fires, I mean, it's a big mess, is basically mismanagement by the state and federal governments, not climate change, like the left wing loonies are saying. It's not climate change. They don't want to admit they're at fault, and they'll reach for the two excuses for everything: climate change or Trump. They can't blame Trump for this one. So voila, climate change is the thing that's happening here. It's funny. And I might have mentioned this on another show. I remember Trump, him saying that what they got to do is get into the forest and rake the forest. And everybody was making fun of him and showing him in a forest with a rake, trying to rake up the branches and stuff, right? But at the end of the day, what Trump was talking about was forest management. We got to clear out all the dead stuff that'll burn quickly. It's kindling. It's kindling, waiting to be set on fire. That's forest management. And it wasn't done. So now, I mean, these fires spread like crazy because there's all kinds of dead wood and dry stuff to burn. And that's what he was talking about when he was talking about forest management. He wasn't talking about going out in the middle of the forest on the side of a hill, raking up all the leaves and twigs. He was talking about true forest management, of crews that go in there and clean a lot of this stuff out, make sure the fire breaks are all bare and that kind of thing. Now, I will say that probably the fire breaks wouldn't have worked in this with 80-mile-an-hour winds. The embers are flying way farther than any fire break will stop. But at least if you've got foliage, if you got something that's green there, it's a lot harder to light on fire than just kindling dry wood. You don't put green stuff on your fire to light it. You put dry sticks and stuff. That's what lights the fire. So, but Gavin Newsom, he was so interested in saving the schmelz that he held the water back to save the schmelz and didn't fill up the reservoirs. And because of that, the schmelz are safe, but the people are burned out. 7,000 homes burnt out. Yeah. So there you go. Mismanagement. It says it all over the place, and the governor is directly to blame. So there you go. And the one thing is that nobody's talking about right now, but I am. Yeah, I'm talking about it because I've seen it. I've seen it. And what's happening is basically now that that's all burned, you got bare hillsides, nothing on it to hold back water, and they're running into the rainy season. Believe me, I've been there in San Gabriel Valley when it's rained after a fire, and it is a nightmare. These waters cause flash floods. They cause landslides and mudslides that bury roads. And along the Pacific Coast Highway, it happens a lot. And now there's going to be nothing to stop that water, to hold it back. It's just going to come pouring down over on the Pacific Coast Highway, over onto the Malibu houses that already burned up and right into the water. So, yeah. Yeah, if they get a lot of rain, it's going to be another nightmare. Different kind, not water or not fire. This time it's going to be water, earth, wind, and fire. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So now, not only do they have to pray they don't get any more big winds, which you're getting today and into the end of the week, maybe. So start more fires. They have to hope that it doesn't all of a sudden start pouring rain, because now they've got other problems with that. So, and you know what? Also, when there's stuff like this happens, there's always earthquakes. Right in the middle of it all, there's a big earthquake, and they're way overdue for it. So don't think that can't be set off by this whole thing. So It's crazy down there, and it's not going to get better for the next little while. Like I say, if you got a prayer in your body, say it for California. Say it for California. Okay, let's get to some viewer comments. Oh boy, I love viewer comments. So the Iceman 69, $1,600 plus 30% benefits each hour. That's true, John. That's true, Iceman. It is $1,600 an hour, $100 an hour, $1,600 an hour for a city council meeting. For every hour they're there, $1,600. That's what it costs the city. And when I say it costs the city, it costs you, the taxpayer. It costs you because you pay the taxes. The city is you. You are the bosses. You run the city. You own the city. Your tax dollars pay for everything. So when they say $1,600 an hour, that's you paying it. Plus benefits. So there you go. John added plus benefits. I didn't say plus benefits. John did. And that's true. I would say that's true. 881 Slick. Love the shirt, Paul. LMFAO should start selling them. And I had the shirt on yesterday with a stick man holding up a brain, and it had "Please use this." Right? It's a pretty funny shirt. Please use this, and the guy, stick man, holding up a brain, or stick woman, I don't know, holding up a brain. Please use this. So, 881 Slick thought that was a pretty cool shirt. The Iceman 69. SciTech, the What If Company, was a private agreement between parties many years ago, nothing legal to stop any development. And John's right. And we were talking about SciTech giving a warning to City Council that they shouldn't be building within 2 kilometers of the plant because they have flare-ups that could cause trouble to anybody that's living in that area. And John's right. There is nothing legal to stop development there. They cannot stop us from developing. All they can do is come to City Council and give a letter and a warning saying that if you build in there could be flare-ups and people could be affected. Now, if you want to build in there, we can stop you, but we are resolving ourselves of liability because we've told you. Now it's up to you. So that's basically what that's all about. And John's right. There's nothing legal to stop any development. And about liability, he says the same Iceman 69 says, you know that on the other side of Town Line Road, there is no ban of distance requirement. If they F up, they are still liable around that. If they are limiting use of property without owning it, then maybe they should have bought it 30 years ago. This is a $750 million project. That's right. That's right. Yeah, but there is no, they say there's a liability, but if they've come to City Council and said don't build in this area, then they basically have put it on City Council's plate, and City Council's responsible. If they build in that zone they told them not to, when it comes down to it, they're going to get their lawyers, and they're going to say, we told them, we warned them, they went against our warnings, and they developed that land anyway. And then it's going to be up to everybody to decide, the courts to decide who's liable. It's like a sign in a parking lot. Park at your own risk. Who's liable? It's not the company. They put the sign up to warn you. You want to park there, you're parking at your own risk. If you want to build there, you're building at your own risk. We've warned you. So, yeah, $750 million project. Yes, it is. And another one from the Iceman 69. And I said, March 1st is summer. It's my official start of summer. He goes, St. Patty's Day, Monday, March 17th, 2025. End of winter, Easter Sunday, April 20th, 2025. End of second winter, Mother's Day, May 11th, 2025. End of bonus winter, right? So he's giving us dates for the winter. And the end of winter is Easter Sunday. End of the second winter is Mother's Day. It's funny. We always do seem to get a storm in late March, early April. And then officially is Mother's Day, May the 11th. End of the bonus winter. So there you go. Johnny's corrected me. Iceman 69. Yeah. So let me get to my second sponsor, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, before we go any farther. And then we're going to talk about Trump, a little bit more about Trump, but not so much about him, but about the mayors around here and how they're dealing with it. Pete's Pizza Victoria Avenue. You guys want a great pizza? Don't even fool around. Just go to Victoria Avenue. Talk to Mike at Pete's Pizza. In the restaurant business, Italian restaurant business for 15 years. Took over Pete's. He uses the Mancini family recipe for the sauce and for the crust, and it comes out beautiful. These Mancinis have been around 40 years. They've had a restaurant called Pete's Pizza, started in St. Catharines, and they know what they're doing. They even use cornmeal on the crust, my favorite. Now, Mike doesn't stop there. He knows how to mix the cheese. He uses beautiful Saputo mozzarella, and then he mixes it with brick cheese like I do at home. That's how I make the cheese, get to put the cheese in the pizza. And then he makes it the perfect ratio with cheese to sauce. You don't want to kill the sauce with cheese. You don't want to kill the cheese with sauce. He does it perfect. He knows how to do it right. Salute to Mike, and you know what? He's consistent. These pizzas are consistent. I've had a dozen there, and they've all been really good. They've all been the same. Not good one day and bad the next. That's the problem with a lot of places. You get one, it's great. You get the next one, it's terrible. You get the third one, it's terrible again. Depends who's cooking, blah, blah, blah. No, not at Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. But don't worry just about their pizza. They have great wings done like buffalo style, fantastic. That's how I like them. They have a bunch of different ways they do them, but my personal favorite is buffalo hot, and they have steak and cheese poutine, all kinds of poutines. They got a menu like this. It's this big, so you're gonna be happy no matter what you order from there. And also, they have later hours now. They're open till 2 in the morning on Friday and Saturday. So after your night out, you want to grab something and watch the Fright Night Late Show. Hey, guess what? They got it. They're open. They got you covered. Pete's Pizza Victoria Avenue, 905-374-2222, or petespizzacvictoria.ca. You can order online, and they have skip and all that other stuff too. So, yeah, give Mike a call. Get a nice pizza. Don't worry, be happy. That's what I do. When I get well wound up, I go home and have a hunk of pizza. I feel a lot better. It's my Valium. It's my Percocet or whatever they call it. Yeah, it calms me down. Anyway, support our sponsors. They support the show. They support the city. Support our sponsors, and also subscribe to this channel. Hit the thumbs up, the like, give us a comment. We go through comments, and I don't know. I keep saying we, but it's only me. I don't see anybody else. I'm looking around. I don't see anybody else here. Now, Amber Price told me there's spirits in here protecting me, so I like that idea. So there you go. So back to the subject of Trump. The local mayors are having powwows to see how they're going to handle the Trump threats. They're very concerned about the border, very concerned that if Trump gets in and these tariffs and everything. But there's no reason to be, everybody. Relax, take it easy, don't worry about it. It's the least of your worries right now in this world is Trump taking power on January 20th and sending an invading army into Canada. No, it's not going to happen like that. But I got to tell you how worried they are. This is the best comment. This is, these people make me laugh. They really, really do. The best comment was from Mayor Redekop in Fort Erie. Is there something in the water there? I don't know. But he says he just kind of speaks first and thinks later. That's what he's talking about, Trump. Trump just kind of speaks first and thinks later. Now, this guy, Redekop, I don't know the guy. Seems like a nice guy. I don't know. But this couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, if you're looking for truth. Single word. Every single word. Trump speaks is well thought out. He knows what he's going to say, when he's going to say it, and measures each word and how he will use it and at what time he will use it. So this claim that he just kind of speaks first and thinks later is as far from the truth as you can get. You can take it to the bank Every time Trump says something, it has a meaning. It's thought out. It's thought out. He doesn't just say stuff. He's not Kamala Harris with word salads. Everything he says means something. He knows what he's talking about. He doesn't speak in political sound bites, word salads. He speaks his mind and has specific words he uses for effect. To think that a man with his business acumen just blurts things out like Sonny Corleone on The Godfather, from The Godfather. Well, I think Mayor Redekop could be the one that blurts things out without thinking. Like the statement he gave to the press. This guy just dropped in from Mars. Has he not seen the way Trump works for the last 10 years? He's been on the front page for being president and running for president. Did he miss something? The border's going to be fine. Don't worry. Mayor Jim's worried. Oh, he's worried. Oh, geez. The border's going to be fine. Mayor Redekop, you can still go to Buffalo for your wings and pizza. Fort Erie, they're not closing the border down to you. And Fort Erie is going to remain the border town it is and has always been. Relax. Have a Heineken Zero. Take it easy. Nice to see you in from Mars. But if you've been paying attention, you'll know that that the statement is crazy. It's crazy. Now, I always watch Facebook too because there's always something going on Facebook, right? And I want to comment on tipping. There's a big thing about tipping. How much should we tip? How much should people tip? It's always a big thing with tipping, right? And one guy had the best take on it. Now, tipping has always been in the past a way to make up the difference between the minimum wage that servers used to get paid and the real minimum wage, because they were paid a lot lower than minimum wage. And it was because they could make up to minimum wage or more with their tips. And by the way, Trump's going to take the tax off tips in the United States. Congratulations to anybody who's a server. You're going to see a bit more money. Now, since the rules have come out, though, servers have been brought up to minimum wage. So they're not $3 or $4 behind the minimum wage right now. They're at minimum wage. So they're getting what they should be getting. And tips are like in addition to that. It's even more to bring them up to, from $17.55 or whatever it is. I think it's $17.55. They could be brought up to $25 an hour for the job, which to me is fine. If you get good service, you want a tip, go ahead. But here's the guy who made a point, and I was reading, and I'm going, yeah, why is that? And he said, why do we tip a percentage of the bill? I'm going, well, no, it's just the way we do it. He's going, listen, it takes the same amount of work from the server to deliver a $20 hamburger and fries or $150 steak and lobster. Same amount of work. Come, take your order, pick up the plate, bring it back to the table, drop it down. You eat it. They come back a couple times, say, is there anything else you want? Offer you dessert, offer you coffee. Try to see if they can up their tip by offering you more stuff on the bill because you do a percentage of the bill. But he had a good point, and I'm going, yeah. Why are they getting paid on a $150 dinner at 15%? They're making like $10.50 or something, right? Now like at $15, $22.50 on a $150 dinner. But on a $20 dinner, they're making $3. The same amount of work. But they get 5 times the tip, 10 times the tip. Go figure that out. And the guy's got a good point. There's no more work involved in delivering a steak and lobster to your table in front of you than there is delivering a hamburger and fries. So why are you tipping them 5 times, 6 times, 7 times the amount? I don't know. Never thought of it, but that's a good point. It's a great point. How do you guys deal with tipping? You think you should even tip now that they're up to minimum wage, where they should be? The tips were meant to get them to minimum wage. Now they're there already. They don't need tips. How do you deal with tipping? Do you think it's valid that, hey, they do the same amount of work whether they bring you a $20 meal or a $100 meal? Why are you tipping them more for the $100 meal? Leave comments. Leave comments on the video. What's your thought on tipping? What do you think you should tip? I mean, I always tip. Most of my friends always tip. And the thing is, I always tip more than I should. I usually tip more than 15%. And I think it's because in Niagara Falls, everybody in Niagara Falls, whether it's you or me, we all have friends that work or have worked in the tourist industry, in the serving industry, service industry. And we want them to make good money. So if I work in the service industry, I know what it's like to get rotten tips probably. So I leave good tips when I go out, and everybody around it does around the table in Niagara Falls because we're a tourist town. We probably tip better than most places. But that's just an observation I have, and I think like when you're working that industry and you get tips to supplement your income, you definitely are more aware when you go out and you sit down and you start tipping people, to make sure that you take care of them. Yeah. So anyway, what do you think? Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. But just an interesting point from someone. So what do we got here? City council meeting, like I said, that's happening this afternoon. And watch for the Meteor Crater development and 4200 Queen Street development. That's going to be an interesting one. And I was saying to Pat Porter, who runs the station now, right? Since our fearless leader Rick Rose passed on July 14th of 2024, I was saying it's going to be interesting for the show here because right across the street at the Meteor Crater, they're going to put up a 20-story building, and there's going to be workers over there probably for 2 or 3 years doing this, something like that, a couple of years anyway, probably. Big trucks, cement trucks, tractors, cranes, you name it. They're going to be hauling in all this prefab stuff because a lot of them are built prefab now, right? So at the end of the day, we're going to be going, you know what? There's a lot of noise here. And believe me, these windows here, right? They do not insulate anything. They don't insulate the cold. They don't insulate the noise. In the summer, you probably hear motorcycles going by and everything. So it's going to be interesting how we're going to do a show with all this construction going on full blast across the street. But I'll be in here and I'll be giving you a bird's eye review of this development, what's going on, when it's happening, when they put the first shovels in the ground, when the environmental people come in and start saying, yeah, Gary Wilkins and Mike Cushman told me about this disaster over here. Now we have to do another couple million of remediation, get all the crap out of it because it's so contaminated. They already spent $2 million on it. So it's going to be interesting. So that's once they okay that and they get somebody in here developing it, it's going to be interesting. And it's going to be good. Like I know I talked about it. I touched on it for a second, but it's going to be good for downtown. Like I say, you get 200-300 people in a building, and there's two of them, 600 more people living downtown and shopping downtown and taking advantage of the amenities like Grand Central, the Highlight Restaurant, the bars, the cafes, ice cream shop, the Cuban restaurant here, and everything else that's down here. They're gonna start actually making some money, which is good for them. And when you have that many people here, you might attract a grocery store or other amenities that they need down here. So I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. The Meteor Crater's been there for 7 or 8 years, looking like hell. Nobody's done a darn thing to make it better. So at this point, I can't wait for it to start and finish. It's going to be good. I hope I live long enough to see it all done, and I think it's going to attract a lot more stuff down here too. It's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And when they do, we're going to have housing for them. And there is supposed to be affordable housing or attainable housing, as well as regular apartments and that kind of thing, and student housing. I think at 4200 Queen Street. So yeah, it's It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see City Council talk about this today at 4 o'clock. Now, sticking with the city, there's a big to do about how to start a council meeting. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got to pay dues if you want to sing the blues, and nothing in this city comes easy. So, there's a big to do about how to start a council meeting. Now, we have what's called the DEI committee, and they're recommending that the three things they're talking about: land acknowledgement, indigenous message to the people, and the national anthem, "O Canada," should be addressed in a certain order at a city council meeting. And guess what the DEI people say? They say, "Oh, Canada" should come last. And I say, you're a bunch of wackos. Listen, this DEI committee should be disbanded right away. Get rid of them. They cost $5,000. We give them to play their games, and get rid of them. Dissolve it right away. City Council, pass a motion to dissolve the DEI committee. Everywhere, DEI is going the way of the dodo bird. It's not wanted. It's not needed. Every department, every position of power should be awarded by one thing: merit. The best person gets the job, not the blackest, not the grayest, not the gayest, not the femalist, or the transgenderist of them all. Only one thing should determine who gets the job: the most qualified. Now, back to the city hall discussion. That's my opinion. And I know I'm going to get comments, and people are going to say, "Oh, blah, blah, you're a this, you're a phobic, yeah, I am. I'm a phobic, phobic. I'm a phobiist. Phobist. Look at this. I'm a phobiist. But you know what? It's going the way of the DEI is going the way of the dodo. It's getting extinct real quick. In the States, they're not putting up with it anymore. Trump's not putting up with it. You see what happened in California with the DEI. Yeah, forget about it. I want people who are qualified. I don't care what color they are. I don't care if they're from Mars. They're qualified to do the job, and they're the most qualified. Then that's fantastic. We see what happens when you have a candidate running for president who's not qualified for anything and was put there by DEI. You see the fire chief in Los Angeles, and the assistant fire chief, and the deputy chief, and the police chief. They're all DEI. And look at the mess they got down there, and that whole state is a mess from these DEI choices, forcing people to do things they don't want to do. How many women apply for the fire department compared to men? Not many. Not many compared to the number of men. Men want to be firefighters. Most women don't. But to have to hire women because of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or hire anyone else on that basis is baloney. Affirmative action never has worked. It never will work. Why they're trying to push on. Now they just changed the name. They just changed the name to affirmative action. You have to have this many of this. You have to have this many of that. Now they call it DEI. Diversity, equity, inclusion. I get 3 kids, one of each. You know, that used to be a joke we said, right? Now it's not a joke anymore. It's not a joke anymore because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So now we come to this indigenous welcome video, land acknowledgement, and then the singing of "O Canada." That's what the DEI says they want. And finally, our mayor standing up and showing his jaloots. Hey, way to go, Mayor Jim. I love it. He says, no, "O Canada" comes first. And he's right. "O Canada" comes first in the land acknowledgement, and the other one can fight it out for second and third. But he believes "O Canada" should come before anything else. And I agree. "O Canada" comes before anything else, and so does the Canadian flag. But that wouldn't be enough for me if I was mayor. Oh, no, 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 no. I'd take it one step further if I was mayor, and I'd say we're disbanding the whole DEI committee. And then we are not going to be reading an Indigenous welcome message or a land acknowledgement tribute. Hey, go in front of City Hall and do it every day if you want. Not in a business meeting. Not in my business meeting. Not in my business meeting. You're not doing that. So I know. Everybody's going to get mad at me for saying that. Oh, yeah. Guess what? Forget about it. It wouldn't happen. That's what Jim should say. As a matter of fact, it's only O Canada. I mean, can you imagine? Here's what I would do. I would really, really get the woke and the lefties. I would get them all going. I'd say, you know what I'm doing? Every week I'm bringing in a priest or a minister or a pastor, somebody, Christian, to say the Lord's Prayer before City Council in the camera in session. Say the Lord's Prayer, and then say a prayer to bless the counselors, and say a prayer that they use common sense to make right decisions. Oh, I'd love to do that. There'd be protesters. There'd be people yelling and screaming, religion and the separation of politics and religion. You'd have everybody yelling and screaming about that. I mean, heavens forbid a Christian does something good. Heaven forbid it. We're a country based on Christianity. Yeah, we are. We are. Heaven forbid that somebody comes in and says the Lord's Prayer to council meeting, but they can do all this other crap. No. Nobody does anything. Oh, Canada, let's get down to business. So that's what I would do. This wouldn't go for me at all. And like City Council, I'd say, no, we're not going to do. Okay, good. I'm using my strong mayor powers then. I'm using my strong mayor powers. Do it, and then let the province or anybody else, these woke guys, the liberals and everybody else come after you. See how far they get. Oh, it's. But anyway, at least he said that he wants old Canada first. I'll give him that. So, and then while you're at it, Mayor Jim, how about rethinking the flag raisings? No flag raisings. They're going to raise the Italian flag at this meeting today. They're going to give the okay to it. No, I'm Italian. No Italian. I'm Métis. No Métis. I'm. Guess what? Nothing. No Ukrainian. No Russia. No Palestinian. No flags. Geopolitics have no place in our city council, our regional council. Let the federal council deal with the geopolitical issues. That's what they do. Hey, we take care of roads and sewers. We take care of the ugly stuff. Roads and sewers and safety and clean city and crime and everything else. We don't take care of geopolitical issues. No, that's not what the business meeting is about. That's not what the business meeting is about. Get rid of it. I'm with the mayor on this one. Oh, so let's get to my third sponsor, Hamel Machine Shop. Yeah, and like every city needs a good machine shop. You're going to attract industry to a city. They have to have somewhere to go to get parts machine that they need and to have things made and fixed and everything else. So these small machine shops are vital. And Hamel Machine Shop has been around since 1948, providing their services to industry and regular people on the street like me. You want something fixed, you broke something metal, you take it to Hamel Machine Shop. They're going to take care of you. They're going to fix it. If they can't fix it, they can re-engineer it. Yeah, oh yeah. They'll make you a brand new one. They can machine a brand new one for you. It doesn't matter what it is. They can fix it. You want gates for your backyard, nice metal gates? Hey, go down and see Hamel. They'll help you design them. They'll build them for you. They'll get them powder coated probably. And Bob Bender's coming in a week this Friday, and he's going to do meet the owner finally Friday with me. And he's going to tell you all about the different things that Hamel Machine Shop does. I can't wait for the show. It's going to be interesting because everybody at some point needs something done like this, and they never know where to go. Well, now you know. Hamel Machine Shop. That's where I go. They provide a great service They do big industry. They do the city work. No matter what you need, they do it. Go down to see them. They have laser cutters, 3D printers. They got it all. Hamel Machine Shop, hamelmachine.ca. That's where you want to go to see the work they do, and you'll see some beautiful work they've done for wineries. Some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful metal work. That's what they do there. Support our sponsor, Hamel Machine Shop. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and tune in a week this Friday. I believe it's the 24th. And Bob Benner, he's going to tell you all about Hamel Machine Shop and the history of Hamel Machine Shop, what they do, how they can help you. It's going to be a great show. And Bob's a great guy. Bob's a great guy. He'll have no problem talking about his business. He's just a really nice guy. And we thank Hamel Machine Shop for sponsoring the show. Okay, so I don't know why, but Trump just keeps popping up here. But, Canada has 6 days to figure it all out. And they're scrambling. And of course, we have Colonel Ford and who else? Pierre Poilievre, trying to be tough guys. Tough guys. They're tough guys. You tough Canadian politicians. I don't know. We've seen Justin Trudeau and guys like him for too long to believe that. And they're telling Trump, we're going to put tariffs on you. We're cutting you off of power and everything. And Trump's just standing there going like, we don't need anything from Canada. We don't need one thing from Canada. Nothing. Right? So I don't know what they're talking about. They don't want to send us stuff, or they want to tariff the heck out. We just won't take anything from them. We'll cut them off. We have a $200 billion trade deficit or some kind of big deficit, $20 billion. Yeah, we just won't take it. We got all our wood. We got all the cows we need. We got all the milk we need. We got all the oil we need. We got all the energy we need. He goes, why are we even dealing with Canada? Why are we dealing with it? I mean, it's habit that we do deal with them, but why? We don't need anything they have. So, so where does that leave Canada? I don't know. I think they're just holding it in their hand. We have a useless leader that refuses to give up the throne. We have wannabes that talk loudly but carry a small stick. That isn't going to scare anyone, not Trump, that's for sure. The Don Rowe doctrine is taken over, and my advice to PP or any other person that's threatening is going to eventually run this country, work with Trump. PP, Pierre Poilievre, you don't have to figure out anything. Follow Trump's lead, you'll win the election, and you can work with them for a better North America. Yes, North America, not just America, North America. That's what Trump wants. I mean, if Pierre Poilievre gets elected and he does nothing, Canada's going to be much better off as the markets climb and the price of goods declines. You don't have to lose your sovereignty to do that. Just pay attention and follow the leader. The United States will drag Canada along with it because it's in their best interest to drag Canada along with it. And it's in their best interest to protect our shores, to have a vested interest in who's going in and out of Canada, that's for sure. I mean, being an open border with Canada, basically, there's so much open land, the longest international border in the world. And there's a lot of open spaces. People can just cross back and forth. So our United States friends are depending on Canada to vet people who come into their country and make sure they're good people. And at that point, you don't have to worry about the border and people crossing the border illegally, because the only ones who cross it illegally are the bad guys. They're the bad guys. That's who cross it illegally. Other people go through proper channels. If they come to Canada, they're here in Canada. They're not coming here to go to the States. They're coming here because they want to come to Canada. That's what you do when you do it the right way. When you do it the wrong way, just open your borders, then you get everybody and anybody. And those are the people who want to get into the States to cause trouble. And those are the people that Trump doesn't want. So everybody says, oh, they come to Canada. Yeah, but the immigration in the States lets them in. If you're talking about the borders, it's up to the immigrations whether they let them in or not. But when you have 4,000 miles of unprotected border, so many miles of border that there's nobody there. I mean, some cities in Canada, there's a line that goes down the middle of the street, and you walk across the street to go to a bar. You're in a United States bar under United States law. You come back across the street, and you're in Canada at a Canadian bar under Canadian law. That's the way it is. It's just open. So we have to we have to start patrolling our borders, not letting these people in, not letting anybody in. And that's how we help the United States. That's what Trump's talking about. So, if we just do the proper things, there's not going to be any tariffs. We're going to have a good time. We're going to get along with Trump, and we're going to be better off. I mean, we were 4 years ago, or 4 years when he was in as president. We were fine. We were fine. And if we had a better leader, we would have been even better. But that's past history. So, but that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And we got to get our act together. And we are. We are. Trump's had a huge effect on everybody in the world. And he's not even president yet. So people are starting to step up. We never heard any of this stepping up in the border and more immigration, more of this, more of that. It's all been because of Trump. Nobody even talked about it. The leaders weren't worried about it. Our mayor wasn't worried about it. Now they are. Now they are, and he's not even president. And I just hope to God he makes it to be president, because there are forces, evil forces in the United States looking to take him up. They tried twice. Don't think they're not going to try again. It's going to be so dangerous at the inauguration that they want to have it inside. They don't want to have it outside like normal. They just can't protect them properly. So we'll see where that ends up. But that's what they're talking about. Now there's been 2 incidents in Washington already. Some guy running around with a machete, and some other guy did something. I don't know. It's crazy. So let's jump over to Welland. Now, Welland's always I love Welland. Welland's a fun place. If you want hijinks and shenanigans, you go to Welland. So here's the latest. The WWE City Council that pits the mayor, Hammer and Frank Campion, against Tony the Terrible DeMarco, has garnered a lot of attention. And now Hammer and Frank wants to clear the air on why Triple T, that's what I call him, Tony the Terrible, is not allowed in meetings anymore. Now, Triple T has been banned from City Council for over a year. He attends all meetings by Zoom. And I think he even got thrown out of one of those at one time. I know one time the technology broke down. He raced to City Hall so he could get in on the meeting because it wasn't working. And he went to City Hall and they threw him out. He couldn't even go to the meeting, which this is wacky. They're wacky over there. This is WWE stuff, man. Now, Triple T, he's got these outrageous antics. He yells and screams. He yells at the mayor. And he's been at odds with the mayor since Keith Richards was an advisor to Adam and Eve. And he's been the subject of 9 Integrity Commission reports since 2017 and docked almost a year, 240 days of pay. And that includes 2 days in 2024. He was last allowed in City Council chambers in December 2023. Now, Niagara Falls thinks the 4 what do you call those? IC complaints. Integrity Commissioner complaints costing taxpayers $77,000, by the way. In 2024 was a lot, but that's amateur hour in the Integrity Commission Complaint Department in Welland. I mean, that's amateur hour. Only 4? Oh, geez, lots. Do you think these two are ever going to bury the hatchet? I mean, they're at each other all the time. But you got to stay tuned in. Watch the Welland City Council meetings as Hammer and Frank and Triple T square off for another 12 months. Talk about reality TV, folks. Welland is it. And, from what I read about the Grimsby City Council, they're getting there. They're getting there. They got somebody there that's really causing trouble, too. And, oh, man, they want to throw her right out off the committee, off the deputy mayor. Oh, boy. They're getting up there. They're getting up there, Grimsby. So it's getting to be a real slobber knocker in some of these municipalities. We have ours. I mean, we have ours too. I mean, people yelling and screaming and getting thrown out and stuff. But overall, we have a couple of bullies on City Council that like to bully people around with their boorish behavior. But other than that, the Integrity Commission complaints are coming from resident one resident who doesn't like the way they run stuff and takes them to task for it. Now, last but not least, down in Niagara Lake, they're fighting about a traffic circle. That's right, 1,000 people. 1,000 people. Holy! I didn't know there was 1,000 people in Niagara Lake. 1,000 people signed a petition to say no to the new roundabout proposed. Geez, for the ward system versus that large system, we had 131 votes last time I looked. They get 1,000 people to sign a petition for a roundabout. How about that? And they're saying no to the new roundabout proposed for the corner of York and Creek Roads in St. David's. And the council sent the petition with another 400 signatures on it to regional council in November of last year. So they say that the roundabout violates the region's street policy, and has a detrimental effect on local businesses. I'd ask Chris Regas about that. He's right there. Now, the roundabout was considered a better alternative to traffic lights at the intersection, and you can just agree or disagree with that. Well, one thing is certain: something has to be done at that corner, because that four-way stop there just doesn't cut it anymore. There's just too much traffic. One time we were backed up to almost like Orchard Glen on that road waiting for the four-way stop. There was so much traffic going through it. So it is a problem. And they got to either have a traffic light, but I like the idea of a traffic circle. Of course, people are going to complain. We saw the same thing with the one on Mountain Road, but that seems to be working out good. I actually enjoy going through there, not having to stop at a stoplight and just zipping around when the traffic's clear, and away I go wherever I want to go. And I think the one at York and Creek will be a dream come true for the surrounding businesses as people just keep going through, and you don't get people backed up with the exhaust going thing. I mean, the old Fire Hall restaurant is right there. Those guys get backed up right down the hill at that corner, the exhaust blowing into the patio there. That can't be pleasant for him. And you got school right there too, and they're backed up in the people idling there for a while, big trucks idling and everything. It's got to stink at times. With the traffic circle, they're going to be just moving right through. They're going to, everybody gets a shot. There's no backups. There's no idling. Everybody just gets into the traffic circle and goes. So I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be good. I got to get Chris Regas' take on it and see what he thinks. Chris, if you're watching the video, leave a comment. But I would say it's good. I like it. I like the idea. Oh, we're getting on 1 o'clock here. So I got to talk about one more thing, then I'm out of here. And that's basically about the Fed's pausing an incentive program for EV purchases that rebated buyers $5,000 when purchasing or leasing an EV. So basically, they're subsidizing a sale of EVs, but they've run out of money. The Feds claim that more than 546,000 vehicles have been purchased or leased in Canada since the program came into effect in 2019, and they've run out of money for the program. They've given so much away, and I'm going, okay. But the EVs are dead. Sales are down. Most of these big plants, GM, Ford, Stellantis, they've all shut down their EV production because nobody's buying them. And they're moving into hybrids. Yeah, they're getting hybrids, but they're not doing strict EVs anymore. And I don't know. The zero emission vehicles, that's what they call them, but that's a bunch of baloney, right? EVs are still use oil. Their whole interior is made out of plastic, which is oil. They have to get their power from coal-fired power plants or somewhere. They got to get their power to charge them up from somewhere. And those plants are way more environmentally unfriendly than any one gasoline-powered car, petroleum-powered car. I mean, plastics and oil are used in everything. So they're not any more friendly, and the lithium and everything else they need to make the batteries is mines, open pit mine, child labor, dirty, filthy industry. So yeah, they're not contributing at all. It's all a farce. It's a hoax. It's baloney. But they're saying, let's see, that they've accounted for 11.7% of the Canadian market. I don't even know if I believe that, but I know one thing. That means that 88.3% of the Canadian market don't want them. Now, Canada has mandated that 20% of all new vehicles sold must be electric by 2026 and 100% by 2035. And no, it's not going to happen. The market's tapped out. Every tree hugger has got their electric vehicle to be environmentally friendly, and we've tapped out of those people because 87.3% of the people couldn't care less. They don't care about it. They're not worried about it. It's not a concern of theirs. They're trying to put food on the table, pay their mortgage, pay their rent, and do that. They don't care about the other stuff. And it's proven by sales. And most of the time, when the feds were selling them, when the car companies were selling, was because the feds jumped the price of gas during COVID and that so high that people were buying them because they couldn't afford gas. They figure, what the hell? I'm going to get an electric vehicle. At least I don't have to pay my gas bill every month. But the market's tapped out. They want to have 20% of all new vehicles sold by 2026 and 100% by 2035. That's not going to happen. They might as well extend them out in the year 25, maybe. And not only that, we have other things like hydrogen fuel cells taking over and other ways to more efficiently generate power to drive a car. Now, do the feds realize the only reason they bought them, like I say in the first place, was the high price of gas? Now, with Trump taking over and drill, baby, drill, the prices are going to decline on fuel and gas. And that's going to really put a knife in these EVs if it hasn't already been put in just because people don't want them. So I don't know if they'll ever reinstate that $5,000. I don't know if it's still on now until they run out of. They've run out already. But if you're going to buy an EV, go check it out. You might want to take a shot at that $5,000 before they really do run out. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but anyway, they're going to run out and they're not going to be reinstating it for a while. So there you go. EV, baby. EV or bust. I don't want one. I like my gas car. I have no problem with it. It runs fine. I don't have to charge. I don't have to do nothing. I fill it once a month, maybe, if that. And that's it. I'm done. I don't go far anymore. Don't want to go anywhere anymore. So anyway, what do you think about that? EVs or no? Most people I talk to say no. There you go. That's it. That's it for today. I'm done. Don't forget, city council meeting, 4:00. Tune in. Tune in live, and they're going to go in camera. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. You know that they're going to be going in camera at 2:00, and then they're going to be getting the live meeting going at 4. No more time wasting. Now we got to get rid of the rest of the time wasters in a meeting, and eventually it's going to happen. Tune in. Tomorrow's Habsolutely. If you're a Habs fan, tune in. Our Habs are doing really good. It's great to have a show where we're actually happy. And Thursdays, of course, Straight Talk Thursday, and then we're getting into finally Friday. So see what's going on by then. My name is Paul Calamere. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of 4680Q in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And we thank everybody for listening. We thank all our subscribers. Subscribe to the channel and give your comments so we can get tuned into what you're thinking in the city. Get involved. Get involved. Don't let city council people intimidate you. Don't let anybody in the city intimidate you. They work for you. You're the taxpayer. They work for you, not the opposite way around. Afflict the comfortable. And while you're out there, make the afflicted comfortable. God bless everybody. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day.